Welcome to Friday Night Party Line for, what is it, the January 21st, 2015. On the panel today, we've got the abominable Australian. It's Jerba.
Hello. Off to a good start already.
Aren't we? Yeah, brand new year. We're rocking out of it.
Oh, Jesus. I've barely fucking stepped off the pot for my morning shit this morning when fucking Victor called me, so I'm not entirely with it.
Yeah, that makes three of us. We've got George.
What the
Hey,
fuck are you
George,
doing on the
welcome
toilet
back.
for my morning shit?
Gentlemen and
How you
ladies
doing,
listening.
George? Yeah. We got Nelson. Yo, Nelson.
Hello.
And we've got Scott Johnson. Hey, Skojo, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Baby's asleep. I can talk.
You are like fully bearded right now. It's like you got like a giant beardness going on there.
You should have seen me when I was more Viking beard level.
And I am, of course, your happy host, Victor Frost. So we've got a smattering of topics we're going to be discussing today, but first, we have a very special announcement. Part of this was made during the live stream of the last episode, though it got cut out of the final mix for the actual podcast proper. So I feel like brand new year should make right with the world and make this announcement properly.
Are you coming out, Victor?
You know, I could keep our love a secret, Sherba, but I think it's just time.
I'm sorry, dude. I've already told you. It's a three-way marriage with Nelson or nothing.
I don't know. I think that's just how it's gonna have to be. I think I can live with that. It's just long distance. It's a problem.
We'll
But
work it out.
anyways, apart from that announcement, I've been hosting this show since God, how long? When did I take over? Like 2010, 2011?
Yeah, 2010 abouts.
Yeah. Since then, I've taken over. I took over the role from the original host of Friday Night Party Line, Thade, who just didn't have the time or the motivation to do it anymore, and he was happy enough to fund the production of the show, however little funding it was, however little funding it took, rather. But as of this year, as of this month, he is no longer going to be a part of the show in any way, financially, or probably coming on the show either. Though an extension is always open, an invitation is always open to you, Thade, to come back on the show. But he's completely pulling out from the show, and he is, as of this morning, transferred the actual whole legal ownership of the show to me. So I'm running the show now, bitches.
This show has legal ownership?
Yeah. The show is
Like it's that professional?
It was run by a lawyer before.
Yeah. So I am now the
This is an
legal
interesting
owner of the show, which means two things. One, I'm not getting paid to do the show anymore because I can't pay me. And two, this opens us up to a whole different level of flexibility in terms of producing the show. Because I always felt a little bit guilty about trying to do too many shows, doing more than one show a month, because I don't know, I didn't figure I could get away with charging Thade that much for every show if we did multiple shows a month. But now that nobody's paying for it, we're actually ramping up. Friday Night Party Line is going to be producing 2 shows 4 times a month. So we're doing Friday Night Party Line twice a month from here on out, once every other week. And in between those weeks, we are after a discussion with Churba and Nelson, we're going to be kicking off another show. It's going to be called Acceptable Vices, and it's basically a show where Friday Night Party Line likes to stick to topical stuff. We like to talk about the news and impertinent social events. Acceptable Vices is going to be the exact opposite of that. It's when Acceptable Vice is going to be the equivalent of our Crab People episodes, where we're playing games or talking about stuff that just seems interesting to us. Churba brought up the suggestion that we could go out and, get information and talk in depth about, about interesting subjects, do interviews, things like that. And I think that's a fantastic idea. Nelson's on board with it. So that's what we're going to do with the new show, Acceptable Vices. So it's going to be in the same feed for the time being. So if you're subscribed to Friday Night Party Line, you're going to get Acceptable Vices too. And we're just going to see how this works out. We may change the name of the show because, frankly, between the three of us, we couldn't figure out really what to name it.
Yeah, I thought we were going to call it Somewhat Nuclear, Not Commonly Known Facts, Police Action 10,000.
I thought the lounge Suck It Scott was a good idea too.
We could have always just called it Geek Nights.
Geek Nights with a K.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
What the hell? We'll just call up Faye and be like, "Hey, bro, can you do us a favor? We've got a brand we want you to claim."
Well, knowing Rim, he's probably done the due diligence and trademarked Geek Nights to some extent.
Like I said, Geek Nights with a K.
With a K, yeah. But that's
of geeks.
Nelson did Dallas. How about that?
Nelson did Dallas.
No, Nelson did Dallas. Now what?
Woke up in the Friday Night Party Line. The sequel to that is woke up in the morning, face next to Churba, and not knowing what the hell happened the night before.
The Knights Templar, maybe.
There you go. But anyways, that's the idea. That's where the Friday Night Party Line brand, if you will, is going, and we're gonna see how this goes. We may hashtag brand, says Nelson. We may it may all just burst into a ball of fire, and we'll go back to the once a month thing. But I think this is ambitious but rubbish. So let's So that's the announcement, guys. Did you have anything to say about that, or did I cover most of the points?
Next time, when I accidentally dial in to the NASA press information line, I will give them some top-notch interview.
There you go. Nice. Okay, so with that announced, it's time to get into the topics proper, and we're starting it off with perhaps one of the biggest events for 2015.
I thought we just covered that.
Well, I'm talking about the Charlie Hebdo attacks. We did. It wasn't too far into 2015 when when the world had a terrorist attack, and it was rather terrible. Radical Islamist, crazy people broke into a satirist French magazine. If you're unfamiliar with the situation, may I recommend that Friday Night Party Line not be your only source of news?
Yeah.
For that, you need
recommend
Fox
otherwise.
News. Fair and balanced.
And if you're getting your news from us, what rock do you live under?
For real.
One thing
Because that's an impressive rock. I would like to live
you're
under it
getting-
as well.
If we are your sole source of information, number one, you must be very excited by the uptick in schedule. And number two, I suggest that the crazy captor who has locked you in a cage in their basement, I would suggest that you have them at least pop in and all things considered podcast into the podcast list. And don't let them anywhere near us if you can at all help it.
Yeah, man, seriously, tell your hostage taker to subscribe to NPR. You get a tote bag and everything.
One thing I've noticed with, let's say, media reactions to bad things is it follows a very predictable pattern. In the beginning, everyone's like,
nothing.
"Oh no, this is a terrible bad thing," and it is. And we must defend these. They see it as, oh, we must defend this bastion of free speech, right? Because that is how you. It's not a, do you support Charlie Hebdo, or do you support whatever. It's, do you identify with that in-group, right? So in the beginning, everyone sees a terrorist attack and they identify with the victims of the terrorist attack, right? And then a few days later, it came out that, oh, well, they might actually be kind of racist. And so there was this big swing where a bunch of people were like, well, don't kill people, obviously, because duh. But also, maybe...
Well, you think, duh.
Maybe I am not Charlie.
Maybe I'm not French.
Yeah, and then there was the counterpoint where it swung back, and the zeitgeist of the media attention swung back and was like, oh well, it's just French culture. They're just fucking racist. Whatever.
Oh wait, this is satire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no room in that self-identification seesaw for anyone to be like, well, don't kill people.
Yeah, I mean, there's your problem.
Some satire is crude.
Yeah, there's your problem. I mean, how's the media supposed to parse like a bunch of gunmen ran in and killed a bunch of people with oh yeah, well, maybe we should be sensitive to other culture. Like there's no real good oh yeah, it's totally cool if you don't agree with someone's message to run in and shoot people. I mean, it's kind of a black and white situation on the the base level. Like a bunch of people come in and shoot people.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Almost everyone would agree that is no bueno.
Well, here's the thing. The media sentiment isn't so much a seesaw as it is a pendulum. Like it starts off from one extreme, running in, shooting people bad, and then swings off like, oh, they're a racist. And then over time, the reactions get more and more sort of moderated over time because the situation has had time to cool down until it lands at one point, the middle.
I disagree. I don't think they become moderated. I think they become more apathetic. I think the media moves on.
Yeah.
Everyone,
exactly.
If you asked a Fox News person, they would be like, "Oh, of course, we're defending satire, blah blah blah."
They would also say,
your entire channel's not defending satire.
Ask someone at Fox News about Benghazi.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. So did you hear about Bobby Jindal the other day?
I saw his Twitter post.
Yeah, Fox News did a report saying that there were areas in Europe where Sharia law was, the police never went, and if you walked in there and you weren't Muslim, you'd be killed, and blah blah blah. And those areas included certain districts of Paris and also the entire city of Birmingham.
I've been to Birmingham, and I feel I'm owed an apology. Not by Fox News, but because I went to Birmingham.
But
no, seriously, it's fucking Birmingham's a shithole, but it's not exactly packed full of Muslims and there's no whites allowed in. I'm the biggest, whitest motherfucker you have ever seen, and I didn't even feel out of place in Birmingham. It's fucking. It's just a normal fucking population distribution for an English city.
Yeah.
At the moment.
And
Paris, fucking ghettos where white people or fucking non-Muslims aren't allowed in. Get fucked.
Now, to be fair, I think Bobby Jindal may have seen District B13 the night before and still kind of had it on his mind and maybe thought it was real.
I wish it was. Cruise around, fucking sweet parkour shit all over the joint.
Turbo, we got a comment from a regular listener and viewer, Presume Beej, saying that Birmingham is the most boring place on the planet.
Pratt is correct.
There you go.
Can I +1 that? Is that possible?
The motion has been seconded and has been passed.
One thing like you can not want satirists to be killed without being okay with their satire.
I think
And you can appreciate satire without even enjoying it. Like, I appreciate South Park. I do not enjoy South Park.
I don't like South Park.
I don't like it. It reeks of
It's hit or miss for me.
Like what they call South Park conservatism, which is basically like, yeah, these guys suck, but these guys also suck, and you just shouldn't care about anything. You know.
South Park is really great. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, and some people like South Park, and it's fine. I think
South Park
is important.
is unfortunately some of the best satire currently on television.
Yeah.
The problem is there's too many poop jokes.
Yeah.
Well, it's apart from like the satire news shows like The Daily Show or Late Night with John Oliver.
South Park.
Okay, so we have 4 satires because we've got to add in what's his name, Colbert.
Yeah, well, not him anymore.
I think last week tonight wouldn't necessarily be satire. I think it's a little more.
It's
a little more
more
message oriented. Like it's not really
comedic
like
commentary.
Yeah.
I watched him do a lottery about the poor winning and the rich winning. Trust me, it's satire.
True. That's true. Well, like, and some South Park episodes are great. Sometimes the New Yorker's satire is not unbelievably pretentious. Most of the time it is. But, like, you know, Mad Magazine might write a good article that's really, you know, well researched and whatever. But it's also a lot of jokes. And
it's also Mad Magazine.
Yeah.
Look, the point is we exist in a world where you should be able to put the prophet of a religion on the front cover and not have people get killed for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Muslim and you don't appreciate that, the appropriate response is
don't buy it.
Don't buy the paper. Don't buy.
And
the
that's the thing. Yeah. These people are not really Muslims.
Yeah.
They're extremists who go around fucking killing people.
I'm tired of religious extremism. We really need to call it what it is. These are crazy motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if some kid in a school started killing everyone because Barney the dinosaur told him that he thinks Barney the dinosaur told him to do that, and we all know Barney the dinosaur did not teach such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Barney's pretty fucking evil.
Anyways, but my point is
how
like...
about Mr. Rogers? Mr. Rogers is more universally...
that's a good one, too. It's like, if we thought, you know, mass murderers were motivated by Mr. Rogers, we would think they were off their freaking rocker.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't give them the validity of religion.
One thing that really angers me, I couldn't think of a funny way to say it, when people like Rupert Murdoch and people like the entire cast of Fox News go and basically say, oh, you know, why aren't Muslims condemning this? Like
they do constantly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, they don't need to. I as an environmentalist don't need to constantly, you know, write a piece about Greenpeace or PETA or, you know, those crazy motherfuckers.
And as a sane person, I do not go around denouncing the actions of crazy people.
Yeah.
My fucking family's Irish, and I grew up Irish Catholic. You don't see me going around saying the IRA's a fucking pack of bastards. I mean, they are, but I don't need to go around and say it. It's just accepted because they fucking blow people up.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Somebody should not agree. Somebody should not agree.
I think Muhammad Ali actually put out a piece recently. I think he was on Medium. He put out this piece, and it was saying that basically, why the hell do I have to say that? Yeah, we condemn those actions. Part of it was him bitching about being carded out as a celebrity Muslim, but it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Though, to be fair, he is the one Muhammad that you can make fun of in your newspaper and actually there may be a legitimate case for getting beat up.
I would like to note, if you walk into like a bar in like, I don't know, somewhere in Europe, like and you're an American, they're probably going to ask you about, U.S. policy.
What U.S.
Where were
policy?
you during 9/11?
Yeah, why did you open Gitmo? It's like, what are you talking about? I'm Canadian.
That
You know what it is?
Yeah.
Let me
You know
tell
what
you.
it is?
Oh, it happens in real life.
You know
but
what
not
it
that
is?
much.
It's called Respectability Politics. And it's basically a way of saying, oh, well, these people should apologize. It's basically the same as if you watched the State of the Union last night, there was some rivalry going on. And David Brooks, the man who is the reason why I will never work at the New York Times, besides all the other reasons of me probably not being qualified, he said in a vomitous think piece today that when Obama made his quip about beating the Republicans twice after they were jeering and applauding at him not running anymore,
Zing.
which was a good zing, by the way.
It was awesome.
Pretty good zing. David
Yeah.
Brooks was mad that Obama would say such things, and he said that was basketball court trash talk,
That's fine.
which...
I'm sorry. And what
Yeah.
exactly has the Republican Party been engaging in by and large whenever there's a primary of any sort?
That's besides the point.
Okay.
When a white pundit goes and says about a black politician that was basketball court trash talk, and goes on to say, and that's also who he is.
What?
That's called a dog whistle. That is basically
I'm not familiar with that.
yeah. It's basically words that you can say. The right wing of American politics uses this to great extent. They're basically words that you can say that sound kind of innocuous, like, oh, okay, well, trash talking, whatever. But to people that agree with you, or to people that kind of understand what you
Other
mean,
racists.
they basically, like, when someone calls an unarmed black kid a thug, they're not saying thug. They're not saying, oh, I think this person was in a gang. They're saying something else.
There's a Negro with a weapon.
Yeah. That's what they're saying.
Well, what I really think is going on is when you make a zinger like that, it's so powerful of like a point that the other side is like, oh God, all that's going to be on the news tomorrow is, Obama kicking our butt in a statement that they have to. They have to say something, and they have to try to degrade it now that they're walking down the stairs after the debate.
We want Congress back.
Yeah,
I do think there was a better, slightly more subtle zinger in the whole State of the Union address, though. Did you catch the bit about how he pinned him to the boards about the whole, I'm not an expert, but...
You know what's great? You know what's fucking
No, I haven't.
thing about that?
You really need to sit down and watch the stupid State of the Union.
The Republican Party headquarters released a video today of the State of the Union, but you know how Obama had infographics and propaganda and whatever on the side while he was talking?
Uh-huh.
They put their own infographics that disproved his points, but you'll notice. Yeah, okay, that's something they do. But you'll notice that they actually cut the video in the beginning when he says, I'm not a scientist, and it cuts that entire paragraph to, his next point. They cut that out of their, oh, we're showing Obama what's what.
Devious
Yeah.
bastards.
That's how you know it's a sick burn, is when the other people have to pretend it doesn't exist.
That's some, like,
Mhm.
Stalin's photography projects shit.
No kidding.
Yeah, I think this is actually illegal in Canada. Like, I think there's some law about politicians can't lie and things like
Yep.
that.
They try to get around
wait a
it,
minute,
and
wait a
it's kind
minute.
of funny.
In Canada,
Yeah.
politicians can't lie? How do they get anything done?
The news, I believe it's...
Well, they
news-
have votes of no confidence, and then there's a new parliament. Because
It's not that it may be that politicians can't lie, but I know that there is a law where news organizations, or rather news broadcasts, cannot like willfully lie.
yeah, that's what it is. News
so,
cannot
yeah.
like Fox News can't actually stay on the air in Canada. They tried and they got thrown out in court.
Yeah.
Oh, but another thing, getting back to the Canadian government, just real quick. So here's a fun thing that makes Canada better than America. And one more case. So you know how we have failed to pass a budget so many times now? In Canada, if that happens, that immediately triggers a condition where the entire parliament gets thrown out and they have new special elections for a new parliament right away.
Yes, please.
We've actually
reasonable.
done that here.
Yeah.
That has actually happened, and it nearly happened again, like with this Prime Minister.
So
And that's
this whole-
brilliant!
So this whole Charlie Hebdo thing was brought up, it happened basically because some people can't accept satire, and right along with that, one of the last things that happened in 2014, and we're still kind of feeling the repercussions of, is the whole Sony North Korea the interview thing. Now, hands up if you think North Korea actually were the people who hacked Sony.
I don't... Possibly, but I don't think so.
I don't know.
They have the
I trust
capability,
Bruce
but I don't think they did it.
Yeah, I would agree with that
I'm kind of.
statement.
I feel like
InfoSec Taylor
Yeah.
Swift on this one.
yeah. After I
Yes.
heard their explanation where they're like, well, we saw North Korea for a few seconds, and I was like, really? I'm behind
Really,
7
really?
proxies. I mean, like, that was their evidence.
I can believe that
The United States never blames foreign powers on stuff based on flimsy evidence.
And then goes to war? What?
We-
No, never.
We blamed them enough to put economic sanctions on them.
We were looking for an excuse.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly. So, but it's really interesting. I mean, none of that would have happened if it wasn't for. Well, let's roll with the assumption that it was some rogue group of really angry North Koreans who somehow made it out of the country or whatever, or people who had a grudge against Sony, whatevs.
Wait.
It's interesting
Patriotic
how-
North Koreans that escaped the country?
Right, yeah. But anyways, it's really, I mean, how weird is it? How bizarre is it that a cyber attack on a private company has influenced the foreign policy actions of an entire country?
It makes perfect sense if you consider the fact that we're living in a corporatist dystopia.
And not to mention, it's not even. Oh, did you mention that like Sony is a Japanese company?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I'll say that.
It's not even one of our companies.
It's a megacorp.
Somebody else's companies.
Megacorps don't have polities.
Yeah.
Maybe the hackers were just
They
trying
moved
to
their
protect
headquarters.
us because the interview was a fucking garbage movie.
That's you know what? That's a great segue from the old topic, satire. I fully support them releasing it online, and I think that might have good follow-on effects to the future of cinema. I watched it. I'm not going to spoil it. It's
Well,
not a
please
great
do.
movie. It's not a great movie.
I have
There
an
were parts that were
alternate.
funny, but
I have an alternate, almost conspiracy theory to
Oh
this.
yeah.
So Sony watched the final cut of the interview and they went, "Oh God, What have we done? I can't believe we gave them money. Wait, I have an idea. What if we were hacked and we're afraid of a terrorist attack and we won't release it because we don't want to endanger the country? That will create such a freedom of speech backlash that we will then release it online and everyone will watch it. And we'll make all our production money back in that first initial release before everyone has a chance to realize it's terrible and not rent it.
But they still haven't.
I would agree with that. I would think it would be possible. Sony would definitely have loved to have done that, but they are not competent enough.
I don't even think. I think they're competent enough to come up with a scheme like that, and even competent enough to enact it, However,
there's no proof.
there is the problem that if it ever came to light that they did that, every single one of their employees could sue the ever-loving crap out of Sony in a massive class action lawsuit for the release of all their private information. You got to remember, there's a lot of human resources documents that went out with that too.
That's true.
I never actually saw these documents that went out, so I didn't actually pay attention to this.
They basically just dumped everything that Sony had on their networks straight onto the internet. It wasn't just the interview, it was Sony, like including passwords for social media, which were in a text file on someone's desktop, by the way.
Wasn't it actually called passwords.txt?
Yep.
I'm not sure of the name of it, but it was something like that. The name was very indicative of the content. There was like admin passwords for fucking PlayStation Plus or PSN.
Nelson knows his beers.
Come on, it's always
that wasn't his phone.
I used my phones this time.
You name your text files that contain sensitive information. New file 3. So as not to draw attention to them.
Fucking, I don't know, man. Like, it's an interesting idea, but I think it's, Sony's not competent enough to pull that shit off, but not get caught.
That's true.
Which is also the problem behind, like, every instance of people going like, oh, the Deadpool trailer, they really just released it themselves and pretended it was stolen. No, that's fucking stupid. Or, oh no, these people are just fucking astroturfing marketers trying to get us to talk about their product or give them ideas. No, that's fucking stupid. The ROI on that tactic is so fucking low that you would just be spunking money up the wall, and nobody pays anybody to just spunk money up the wall outside of the government.
I mean, if nothing else, the Sony has watched the GOP's own astroturfing attempts, and they know it doesn't work. Everyone knows it doesn't work.
I mean, how many times online have you seen someone actually reverse their position when someone comes up and says, "No, really, actually"?
I think it's just really crazy. I mean, when the hack was announced, I mean, it dominated the news cycle, and it was just really entertaining to watch the effects of it just sort of spiral out of control. I went, oh, Sony's been hacked. Oh, this information's been leaked. Oh, President Obama made a statement about this.
Pretty much everyone called them pussies.
No kidding. And then, there's actual economic sanctions being levied against them? Oh, North Korea Kim Jong-un might be called to The Hague?
Fox News, Obama hacks Sony.
This is what happens when it's a slow news day.
No, you gotta realize something here. An attack on a private corporation is viewed by our government as an attack on, like, the economic system that we live under. So they view that as a national security threat and will, respond appropriately. So it's not crazy that we did respond, because one of the big things that we're really paranoid about is a cyber attack taking down like 3 or 4 of the largest corporations for like weeks and like billions of dollars being lost that way.
I mean, okay, yeah.
Which is totally going to happen in the next 30 years.
Yeah, and then
It already did happen. Remember
And
the PlayStation Network?
let me just tell you one thing, George. Even though George's conspiracy theory is not true, probably you got to remember,
It's
like
not.
the '90s, there was the Blair Witch Project, where they actually convinced a large segment of the population that the movie was made of actual found footage, and people actually believed that. But that was a little more pre-internet.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah, pre-internet, H.G. Wells could get away with stuff too.
Oh, pre-modern internet, I should say.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. That whole people freaked out over the War of the Worlds
Oh
thing.
no, that's not true.
100% a myth.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. No.
Never actually true. Everybody knew it was a fucking radio play, and practically nobody was fucking listening to it anyway, because there was a way more popular show on another channel that was basically forgotten by history, because while they were incredibly popular, they didn't have the staying power of H.G. Wells.
Hey, I'm sure two crazy old people that were listening probably thought it was real, but they were.
I just gotta wonder, like up to the point, like up to now, we've had corporate responses to cybersecurity breaches has been, oh no, there's been a breach. Ooh, what do? We don't know.
I have a
But
new
I
credit
can't-
card I have to activate.
I can't help but think that perhaps in the future, I mean, we're gonna when people start being bolder, and there are major cyber attacks against companies like Google, Microsoft's web services, Amazon's web services, stuff that actually has an impact on the online economy infrastructure, or the services that governmental organizations use to support their infrastructure and things like that. I gotta wonder, wouldn't there be at that point, a sort of an incentive for corporations to literally get their own, to hire Blackwater to go take out whoever's doing these attacks themselves?
So
No,
network.
it's way cheaper to properly secure their networks.
Yeah. And also remember, I believe there was a DDoS attack against the root name servers last year or the year before that was fairly large.
I think there's been one like every year.
Yeah, but there was like a big one that I think took one of them down for a while, maybe, or for like a few hours, maybe. But like, so these things are happening. It's just like, you're not going to run a news story on the front page of the New York Times saying, oh, this one of the 13 root name servers got DDoS'd. Oh no.
Because then you'd have to take
DNS was down for 2 hours.
Yeah, also this is what DNS is, and this is how the internet actually works.
You'd have to take like 3 pages in Section F to explain what the hell it all is.
Yeah, so like those stories don't have sizzle.
No, they do not.
Despite being very
And
important.
that is why most newspapers and media have gotten rid of their science and technology reporters.
Sad day. Well, primarily due to the fact that most people who are interested in science and technology actively seek it out, and there are much better sources than the average New York Times, column to find out about that, and more timely sources too.
Not to mention, even when they had those departments and reporters, a lot of the time those reporters didn't actually know very much about what they were reporting, because you didn't have a reporter who was like, oh, this guy does this section of science, this guy does other section. It's basically just a group of people who do whatever science pops up on the beat.
It's
that
actually
day.
it's a really good. I was talking with my dad a few years ago about American soccer versus Italian soccer sportscasters, and how in American sports, the sportscasters are former sportsmen, former athletes. I obviously know a lot about sports. But in Italian, like if you're looking at Rai and you're watching a soccer game, the sportscasters are like professors or public speakers that also really like soccer. Kind of a flipped emphasis.
Yeah.
They're entertainers or public speakers that really are into soccer, rather than soccer people that also get shoved in front of a camera.
Yeah. It'd be like me talking about like IndyCar as opposed to me talking about sound design.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's, whatever's entertaining.
Yeah. Well, just to bring it along to the that was a wonderful little tangent you took on there, Nelson, because that brings us straight into the world of entertainment, wherein lies our next topic. Sling
It's almost
TV.
like he's good at this.
It's almost.
You'd think he's experienced or something.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, we got Sling. We're gonna be talking about Sling TV. So
because I don't read the internet, what is Sling TV?
Well, it's a good thing you ask, because for people like you and others who don't follow the wonderful world that is CES, Dish Network recently announced a service called Sling TV. They're going to be rolling out that basically makes it available, the cord cutter's dream, so calleth the media outlets that like to talk about things like this. Basically, you get a smattering of channels that you would normally get in like your basic cable package, except you don't need a set-top box. You don't need a satellite dish. You stream it over the internet. How novel.
What?
Although, this is 2001 called, they want their internet TV back.
Can I watch it on my Roku?
Can you can watch it on your Roku, you can watch it on your Android, you can watch it on your your computer.
The problem is it's live TV with a plus or minus 3-day window to watch stuff.
Yeah, and it's not even really clear if you have any sort of DVRing functionality.
They don't.
For me,
I'm pretty sure they don't.
That sucks. That would suck. See, I love my DVR. I can like say, oh, DVR, remember to record the new episode of Mythbusters for me because I will forget. Or
it's actually worse than TV in the 80s because it's more expensive and you can't pop in a VHS tape and record a show on it because of the internet.
I swear I'm going to put an antenna on top of my house and just say, F this all. They can't figure it out. I'm going to actually, watch TV that comes out of the air.
See, here's something insane for you. These people are actually behind the government in this. That's how backward this is.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's 2 government stations in Australia. There's SBS, the Special Broadcasting Service, which was famous for quite a long time, showing porn late at night. Then there's the ABC, which is a bunch of stations like ABC 1, 2, Sports, a bunch of radio stations like my favorite, Triple J, Hottest 100. Vote now if you haven't already, and listen on Australia Day, the 26th of January.
Yeah, but be careful. If you're a fan of Taylor Swift, it might not be on the list.
In the United States, ABC is known as that network what done show The Chaser.
But here's the thing. They do, the live TV thing and all that, and if you have cable TV, you can do the whole catch-up thing, like you can record it and DVR it and shit like that, because they go through all the cable networks as well. But the thing they do is on their website, if you're in Australia or have a VPN, and you're outside Australia, you can actually watch like about 90% of their programming just on catch-up anytime you like.
It's like BBC's iPlayer, right?
Yeah, BBC iPlayer does the same thing. BBC's I can't remember if they're government or if they're like private with a government mandate. But either way, but either BBC does it, Sky UK does it, Sky Australia does it. A whole bunch of networks here and in the UK do it, but for some reason American TV networks are yet to catch up on this.
Well, in your crazy socialist, prisons,
Utopias.
they have these things. But here in proper capitalist, first world country, we don't give out intellectual property that easily.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you over the sound of my universal healthcare.
Hey, we can play violent video games.
Speaking of,
we can play that.
here's on a tangent. Speaking of lack of universal healthcare, I am presently without healthcare right now. So thank you Medi-Cal, thank you State of California.
Don't get sick.
Hey Victor,
And if you do get sick, it's your fucking fault.
Motherfucker.
What?
Good job, hippie.
Sign up to a Obamacare, you idiot. No, do it.
Actually,
I'm not kidding.
I'm in the process of renewing.
Your father might disown you, but it's worth it because your father isn't going to heal your boo-boos.
Okay.
Be
Scott
really
Johnson's father
careful
will
at
adopt you and then
crosswalks.
disown you too.
It is ridiculous that that media outlets that should know better, places like Engadget, they're going out and lauding this, like, oh, behold the baby Jesus of television. It's just like, why?
They don't understand. So there's a spectrum of techie craziness, right? On one end are the people that have a landline and a fax machine, or the people that are really excited about getting a fax machine. And on the other end is Richard Stallman, or the guy with the bionic, like Google Glass-like eye situation.
The other guy from MIT.
Yeah, but most people are like here. You know, they're in the middle. Like, they watch the Netflix. They have maybe cable, whatever. A lot of people are right here, where they have the Netflix. They know that BitTorrent is a thing. And some people are like here, where if you say, hey, watch this television show, they will say, is it the best thing in the world or among the best things? If not, it's not worth my time to watch, let alone pay for.
Actually, speaking of like that spectrum there, the spectrum is weirdly skewed. Spectrum? What? The spectrum is weirdly skewed here. Like, you say, oh yeah, you've got people who know that BitTorrent is a thing, but back here you've got most people who like have Netflix or know cable is the thing. Except down here, like, for example, my mother is one of those sorts of people who actually would be excited about getting a fax machine. It's just that she also knows how to torrent things and does so regularly.
That's good. That's very good.
Like, everyone here torrents. Torrenting is just normal. It's
can we
something
get
your mother
onto
does.
tangent there? So torrenting. A little while ago, the Pirate Bay went down. I'm sure we, even those of us who didn't read the internet, noticed this happening. Where do people get torrents now? Because I haven't seen the new episode of Top Gear yet.
Kickass.to.
Kickass is pretty good. I don't like their web design. I mean, I didn't like. The Pirate Bay was full of ads if you were a schmuck and looked at the ads. Otherwise, it was a
Wait a minute,
very
are you
clean...
telling me you were never interested in the scores of women within miles of you?
They're like in my neighborhood. I could just walk down on my neighborhood.
Oh my god,
and
those
talk to
ads.
them. But if you like took away the ads, it was actually a nice minimal interface. It was very clean, did very few things, and it was very very fast. I think we need that kind of minimalism in a new torrent tracker. And Kickass is okay, but it's not minimal.
So
What's it called? Kickass what?
Kickass.to. This is not an official endorsement by anyone but me.
Indeed.
Until they pay us.
So,
Also,
I'm looking at the Sling TV and doing research while you guys are talking. And the way I look at this is the reason it's a big deal is because you can get sort of basic cable without using Comcast or Verizon. So if you're stuck in a place where you only have like one of those services, you could use that, and it would cost about the same, except for you don't get all the basic channels that people would actually want, like CBS, ABC, Fox, and NBC, not to mention PBS. But but no, I mean, because it's not that much different from what like you would have to pay it goes over your internet. So you're gonna need, like, for me, I need to use Comcast because that's all I have. So that's $60 a month for I get really fast Comcast, and then I pay $20 just for basic cable. So I get what they're giving out, but I can see where somebody might want that if they're getting their internet through some service that doesn't have cable included.
I think this is kind of a stopgap for the industry for the moment, because for basic cable, you are effectively getting you're effectively getting all the channels you would get if you just stuck up an antenna and got them over the air, plus Discovery Channel, Discovery Networks' stuff, and that's about it. And Cartoon Network.
Here's the thing. Do you guys care about channels or cable or networks?
I care
is
about
that a
shows.
consideration?
I care about shows, but they're
I
on.
want to
channels.
watch. I want to watch MythBusters. That's really about it.
I need my MythBusters. I need my MythBusters. I do enjoy Pawn Stars. I need my Counting Cars.
I mean, I have watched
I need my
pretty
Top
much
Gear.
every.
Both, and I need my Top Gear, both UK and US.
Well, that's kind of the thing. Like, I'm a bit different there. I do care about shows, but I also care about networks in the sense that, like, there are networks that I just never watch, and there are networks that I'll just turn on to just watch whatever's on, like Discovery and things like that down here. Yeah. But the problem is that I can say that, but it's such a different thing down here than in the US. Like, instead of Discovery like you know it, we have Discovery Australia, which is a very different beast. And we still have Sci-Fi Channel not spelt like syphilis.
Oh, that was a bad idea.
Wow.
Sci-fi. It's not just sci-fi. It's also
And
wrestling.
we have Comedy Central, which is like your #1 destination for reruns of Who's Line.
Whenever I talk,
You guys have Whose Line?
We have reruns of Who's Line.
I'm pretty sure.
That's probably better.
I would like to note, I'm pretty sure some version of Whose Line Is It Anyway is on TV.
It's the new version.
It's a new one with, I think, Wanda Sykes is hosting now.
Oh, yeah?
No, not Wanda Sykes.
And it's still got all the old crew. I don't know. I
no.
remember her name, so I'm just striking out with a random name and hoping it's the right one.
I sometimes have very awkward
I would watch the crap out of that.
Yeah, it's on. Go watch
It's
it.
on TV.
Not right now. You're
Yeah.
hosting a show. Wait until later.
I sometimes have awkward conversations with coworkers when I'm like, oh, you should watch Black Mirror. It's great. It's a great show. You should watch it. And the first thing that people ask me, at least the older generation, is, oh, what channel is it on? And I have no idea.
Yeah, about that.
Like, if I think about it for a bit, maybe I'm like, I think it was a BBC show. I don't know. But like, what channel is what's the one that John Oliver does?
YouTube.
HBO.
Jokes.
HBO.
YouTube.
Yeah, he's
It's on
HBO.
YouTube. It's on the YouTube channel.
Well, partly on YouTube.
Part of it. I mean, I thought it was only like a half-hour show, but then one of my relatives who gets
no,
HBO says, "Oh yeah, it's like an hour of all this." I'm like, "It's an hour?"
it's on BitTorrent, and if you want to share it with people, you've got clips on YouTube.
Okay,
That's
Pratt,
the thing
who is our
every show.
#1 listener right now, because he always talks back to us, which I kind of appreciate.
Yes, I do. Too.
He summed it up really well, in fact. And he said, exactly, the audience no longer finds a push system for media acceptable. Pull media is now more important to the audience, for example, video on demand. That's
That is
the
100%
well, I'm now
true.
going off what he said, but yeah, that's pretty much the state of things as they stand.
Mm-hmm.
Is that people don't want media that tries to come to them and media that you have to go to at a set time and place. People want to be able to like pull it. I want to watch some of this right now, not what's on right now.
I would like to know
I want to
if you
binge watch The West Wing.
if you get Comcast, for example, you get on demand, and then whatever channels you have, you pretty much get to go back to the last like 5 weeks of the shows and watch on demand whatever the episode.
We get that from Time Warner too, but on Time Warner, like the only shows I really ever want to go back and look at is I want to see like an episode if I miss like an episode of Steven Universe. I'm gonna go back and I look at it and it's even though the show airs in HD, it is double letterboxed. The show is double letterboxed. It's first they take the 16:9 and they squeeze it into a 4:3 hole. And then the 4:3 hole displayed on my HD TV is surrounded by letterboxing, and it's such low res I can't deal with.
Well, that's got to be Time Warner, because I know like Comcast. If you have the HD stuff, you can get the HD on demand. So
SBS
You just have really
SBS
bad.
and ABC, 1080p HD all the way, and you can live stream in 1080p.
Torrents are in RSS feeds that are automatically downloaded whenever they become available in 1080p on a 300 megabit connection. And whenever I notice that there is a show, whether it is the day it airs or a month after it airs, I go and watch it for free.
Okay.
If I could,
Also, carry on.
Kaylee's making her first vocal FMPL appearance just now.
if there was a Patreon or some way to give money to people that make the shows that I watch automatically based on the shows that I actually watch, I would totally be into that. I don't mind paying for content. I
agree.
We live in the 21st century, so I'm not going to go out and buy a record unless I want to listen to it on a record player. If I want to listen to it on my computer, I'm not going to buy the record.
I will. I do that.
Well, but I have a record
I
player.
understand that people like you exist, but the rest of us will just listen to it on our computers.
Also, I should make a correction. I have been informed that it's actually Aisha Tyler who is hosting Who's Line nowadays. Not Wanda Sykes, who is funny. It's just not the right person.
Just
my
real
sister.
quick, I need
my
to bow
sister
out
who
because
has,
Lions are out here.
My sister has decided to pop into the stream, and she has posed the comment that this whole shift in the paradigm of media distribution is seriously influencing marketing as well, which is abso-fucking-lutely true, because we are seeing ads on buses for Netflix exclusives.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well,
Ads on buses for YouTube.
you know what kills me still is their advertising is still tied to the 24-hour ratings. Like I think it's like watch per 24 or something like that. And even though they do take 3-day ratings that take account on demand and
the
views
D
on
plus
Hulu,
days.
but they don't really matter that much. So a show probably has triple the audience that it has and will still get canceled because of the ad people don't really care about it when they're buying ads.
Here's the thing, though. Netflix refuses to release their ratings for it, and Nielsen is trying so hard to eke some sort of numbers out of the viewing on on-demand services, and they can't.
Oh, I know why they don't want to give numbers. Because then their licensing would go up.
I say they should base it on 24 ratings. Not 24-hour ratings, ratings of the show 24 with Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh, yeah, right. You know what the other thing that kills me is you'd think these companies would be smart. Like they put their show on Hulu, right? And they're showing it as it comes out, and that's how I watch a lot of my TV, really, through Hulu Plus. And but they removed the first episode at some point of a show. Like, why would you ever do that? If someone catches a recent episode and goes like, "Hey, I want to watch this from the beginning," they go back and the first episode's missing. So then they're like, "Well, I don't even know where this show is. Why would I?"
You have other models, and then you have the competition, and then you have the introduction into the American market of other models, such as the model of how Japanese shows, how Japanese anime, for example, are produced, where they don't have here's a pilot, and then how well the pilot does influences whether or not we're gonna keep making more than 6 episodes of this thing. They just go, poof.
Oh, isn't that the Amazon?
Yeah,
no. Amazon's doing something where they show you. It's actually the opposite of that, where they do. They apparently put 5 or 6 pilots out there, and then whichever ones catch on, they produce, which is actually different from what they do.
It's almost like a Darwinian television selection.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Eventually, television will be determined by algorithms that will be better at determining what pleases humans than humans are.
It'll all be Kickstarter.
Which will also mean that look forward to the 2017 premiere of Ow, My Balls.
Yeah.
Oh God. No.
Also,
no.
just as a quick aside, what the fuck is up with services like Hulu and, since Victor mentioned Japanese anime and such, Crunchyroll, where they've got something that you want, but their actual paid subscription service is fucking janky as shit. Like Hulu, you pay for that shit. They still show you ads that you can't skip.
I have no.
Wait.
Okay.
Can I just make a defense of that real quick? You pay for cable and you get ads. So I mean, I don't see how that's any different from paying $7.99 for Hulu.
Yeah, here's the thing.
And have
when
you ever
pay for
seen
cable-
the anime selection that Hulu has? It is ridiculously big. I am perfectly happy watching a few ads.
Here's
to
the
get
thing.
access to all
When-
that
when-
anime without
when,
torturing
like-
everyone.
Here's the
And
thing. The
Crunchyroll-
idea when cable was instituted was that you're not paying for the content. You're paying for a more reliable means to get the content that's already being transmitted over the air. It just so happens that we've stuck with the same infrastructure, and they figured out how to squeeze more channels onto it.
Yeah. And the thing with Crunchyroll is you pay a pretty reasonable amount per month, and they do cool stuff like simulcasting and simul-publishing, where basically they just immediately translate it and dump it out in English onto Crunchyroll. Except, despite the fact that you pay a premium for this service, the translations are worse than the free translations online, most of the time. And fucking their reader software that they say basically you read it this way or you don't fucking read it is garbage. It's this horrible fucking Flash-based thing from about fucking 2004.
Well, you've just.
All right. Well, I'm
convinced me to
gonna
never look
I'm
into
gonna call time.
purchasing
I'm gonna call time
Crunchyroll.
on this for the moment. For the show. Because we're getting close to the danger zone. Of the hour mark here. So I'm gonna call that out. Where the hell did George go?
He left.
You gotta leave. You said it right in the middle of the conversation.
But
Yeah.
I did not even hear
suspiciously,
it.
Like-
Batman just arrived on
Oof.
the scene, so I don't know. Just asking questions.
There's questions. But I just wanna. Well, I was gonna thank George, but he's gone. So
So
thank
fuck
you.
you, George. Don't come back.
Yeah.
No, come back, George. We love you.
Until we
Especially
have another car
episodes.
episode. And then
You know more shit than I do, which is kind of impressive.
right. All right. Well, thanks, Gojo, for coming on to the show, and see you, Kaylee. Kaylee, little lying there on your lap. Oh.
Peace out, Kaylee.
Adorable. And thank you, Nelson and Scott, and after the show is done, me and Churba and Nelson are gonna sort it out. But hopefully, with any luck, we will see you guys next week on the first episode of
Whatever we're calling it.
Acceptable Vices. That's it. There it is. Hopefully, Churba and Nelson and I will see you all on next week on the first episode of Acceptable Vices, where we will be running through my very first attempt at making a game. Oh crap. And with that, thank you all, and we will see you next time on Friday Night Party Line.
Bye.